Crazy Six, directed by Albert Penn, released 1997. Ice-T is also in this movie. Ice-T is very bored, and we are too, because we hear this woman sing for way too long. We see Mario Van carrying a little chihuahua. Then we see Ice-T at a party, and there's a beautiful woman, and a bunch of robbers come and ruin everything. Okay, so far the plot isn't taking too long to get started. I mean, the woman was just singing for 5 minutes and the plot got started. So we see the robbers duct tape Ice-T to the chair, but don't worry, he'll get out of that duct tape very soon, but we don't see how he gets out of the duct tape. A woman gets a gun up to her face and she just acts intimidated and very scared to this man. That's her purpose in this film, not to defend herself, to just act intimidated and very scared, like a weak woman would in one of these movies. Then the plot takes a 15-minute stop when we go to his club and we hear this woman sing. Ice-T got out of duct tape. Is he gonna play a big role in this movie? No, not really. Mario Van is just looking cool now, paying his chihuahua while this music goes for a very long amount of time. Ice-T calls up Mario Van. Are we going to get back to plot now? No, she just keeps singing as Rob Lowe and Ice-T listen and just say nothing. Oh, she's walking towards them. Are they going to talk now and flirt? Is the plot gonna start moving again? Ice-T and Rob Lowe just keep looking at us with their weird faces while they singing. Please move on. We've been in this club for over 10 minutes. A plot is starting? Nope. Okay, the plot is going to start. Yes, come on. No, she just keeps singing. I want out of this club. Okay, Ice-T talks to his guy. He says, you have something that belongs to me. The plot is starting to move along. Fast-paced action. People are being shot down. And everybody grabs a gun. And it's a bunch of fast editing. She just keeps singing. Rob Lowe looks very depressed. He kisses and murders a woman because that was her purpose in this film. We go to a hospital. We meet Burt Reynolds, and we learn that we are not in the United States. We're in a European place. They don't say what country in Europe. I guess it could be any country. Next, we see Norbert Wieser be aggressive and argue with this guy about how they're gonna have a funeral for the woman that Rob Lowe cut up. We learned that Burt Reynolds busted the dancer's brother for something. We don't know what Burt Reynolds busted her brother for. And dancer is now in a wheelchair. I don't know why. This kind of will acted scene um comes up with a lot of questions that does not answer. So they argue about Neil Diamond and Petty Coma. And we learned that that song that she's singing that went on way too long was giving out a warning. We don't know what the warning was for, and that does not make the same plot relevant because that singing scene still went on way too long. Rob Lowe is acting very depressed. Learned that Mario Van's only friend is the Chihuahua. Both these characters are very depressed characters, and that's why they murder women. They still murder women, and they're not that deep of characters, so I do not sympathize with them. What? Nazis? Okay, and now we're back to Burt Reynolds, and we see Burt Reynolds and Norbert Wieser, and they say he's deader than Kelsey's nuts. They act like this is a famous saying, but I've never heard this saying before. I guess this is the closest this movie comes to clever dialogue. Get Rob Lowe acting depressed about killing that woman for no reason. Rob Lowe is confessing this to a woman, and then the woman randomly gets turned on, so she gives Rob Lowe a blowjob, because that is her purpose in this film, to give blowjobs to depressed men. This is a very misogynistic movie. Good thing that this misogyny gets interrupted by manly gunfire. Rob Lowe and this easy woman become the main relationship for this movie, and it's just a depressed, terrible man getting kissed and complimented by a very easy woman. This movie is a male fantasy movie. Next, we rehear information when Mario Van sees that this house is destroyed, and he says, "What is wrong with that digital piano?" And they say it got destroyed. Mario wants to know that he was there. So Rob Lowe gives weed to the woman because this is how Rob Lowe manipulates women in this movie. You can have bad elements to your character, but they still have to have likable elements. Rob Lowe never says anything funny. He is depressed the entire time, so he's not a likable character. We're supposed to feel sorry for this guy who kills women and smokes weed, but we don't, because he never says anything funny. This woman feels like a young streetwalker, I guess. So she's also a mother. The woman killer, Rob Lowe, has to take care of a child. Is that going to be the start of some conflict in this movie? And some character development to help us sympathize with Rob Lowe? Man looking depressed, a woman getting harassed, but there's no difference between these men and Rob Lowe. Why this woman like Rob Lowe more than these men that we just see for a couple of seconds? Rob Lowe has the same development of this movie as background characters, so we don't know why this woman likes Rob Lowe more. So we don't sympathize with Rob Lowe when he's dying of a drug overdose. Okay, I guess Rob Lowe is fine now that drug overdose had no impact on the story, and now he's being a good father to this girl, but we only see that in montage, so we don't really get to see how Rob Lowe is struggling to be a father while being a woman-killing drug addict. 5 minutes of a bunch of fade-in edits that make no sense, and I think they're supposed to develop the story, but they go by way too fast to develop the story. And Burt Reynolds comes back into the movie. Pablo's girlfriend gets forcefully drugged up by Ice-T. Is this going to be what comes back into the movie and redeems Rob Lowe's character? Just like Ice-T in Mean Gun, Mario Van is randomly inserted into this movie for a couple of second edits in random scenes that make no sense. After 5 minutes of fade in and out shots that mean nothing to me because they go by way too fast, and they don't really develop the story because they go by way too fast. I can't tell what's happening in them. We get epic shootout scene. Yup, this violence definitely makes up for nothing being developed in this movie. Probably. No, it doesn't. So the movie ends with the woman singing again, and Ice-T gets shot, and Rob Lowe is still a shitty father and a shitty friend. He never becomes a better character, he never learns anything. This is a very unsatisfying ending, but what do you expect for a movie that was mainly just a collection of fade in out shots with no character development? This was a terrible film. So that's Crazy Six. This is a terrible movie. All the women are just horny, sexualized characters, and their only purpose is to be sexual and make these very depressed men feel less depressed by being sexual. No develop in this movie at all. It's just a bunch of fading out shots for most of it. Even when the movie calms down, it just tells of stuff that we always saw before, and the characters say stuff that's trying to be funny, but it's never funny. The most likable characters were Brandon Reynolds and Mario, but those characters were just still glanced over. And Ice-T was not that good in this movie, so this isn't even a good movie for Ice-T fans. This is a really bad movie that feels overly long at points and overly quick at points because nothing is developed. I do not recommend it. Bye. Touch grass and do not watch Crazy Six.